Hi guys, welcome back to Mania Mayhem. I'm your host, Joe from Mania number five. I got a wrestler with me again, Todd Fenwick, aka Rockford. Rockford, how are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, just quick story. You want to let people know who you are, what you do, what you used to do, what you're currently doing, etc., etc.
Right on. Giving me the floor right off the bat, eh? Right
Yeah, I
on.
mean,
Okay, well, I'm a retired pro wrestler from the independent scene in British Columbia and Washington State. I started in '92. I was trained by Tim Flowers and Michelle Starr. I think the promotion at that time, it was All Star Wrestling out of Cloverdale, British Columbia. Um, and it changed names, WCCW, All Star Wrestling. I forget the other ones. Then it turned into ECCW, Extreme Canadian Championship Wrestling. And well, some of the names are behind me here, but it was an epic journey. I wrestled for about 10, 15 years on and off. I started playing football. I played junior football in Victoria, BC, and went to semi-pro in Washington State. Just lots of fun. And when I retired from wrestling, I started coaching football because I had two boys, and they were chip off the old block on the football field. So I continued coaching and been involved until I retired in 2025 for 50 years being involved in football. So it's been an epic ride, and I have my own team now in a co-ed division in Surrey here, and I still get out on the field sometimes, and that's
wow,
pretty good for a 57-year-old man.
cool, sick. Yeah, that's good. We all gotta get that exercise.
So just living the dream every day and having fun and traveling the world with my job I do now. I'm in sales and construction and playing golf and just keep smiling.
Yeah, and then I was reading an article. It said that you used to wrestle for NWA, and it was because I think it was because it was your wife was more of a like she wanted to go into pro wrestling, but then she got in an accident, if I'm not wrong, which is unfortunate.
Yes, I
If it wasn't
rest.
for that, two things. If it wasn't for that, do you think you still would have went into wrestling if it wasn't for that? And when you went into wrestling, was there like any superstars that you used to watch like back in the day, like WWF or ECW or anything like that, that also pursued you, or do you think it's because you kind of wanted to like fill her footsteps for her because she wasn't able to do it?
No, we moved to Vancouver and she took me to a show. We went to a wrestling show in Cloverdale and I watched the show and I was like, man, this looks fun. I could do this. Keep in mind, I was a wrestling fan from a young boy. My favorite wrestler was Roddy Piper. He was my favorite wrestler of all time. And of course, Bret Hart and Stone Cold in the later years. Um, I like the brawler type wrestlers. Even though I was a smaller guy when I broke in, I gained some muscle and had some fun. I that NWA I wrestled Tony Kazina in Surrey, British Columbia for the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title, and I beat him in a cage match. And my wife was my manager, Freedom, who actually climbed the cage and helped me win the match by throwing my bat over the top to help me sucker him. So
Did that hurt
I
your
won
back
a
more or
little.
no?
I went in Rome. We were in Surrey in the Wally skating rink. It was pretty good. It was an epic match. And Tony Kazina, if you ever look him up, man, he still runs a wrestling school in New Zealand. The guy was a little guy, but the toughest little son of a bitch you ever met. You know, he would yell at me in the ring, hit me, hit me, hit me. And oh my God, I'd be blown up hitting him so hard, and he would just keep coming. I love wrestling him.
Was that your toughest opponent?
Yeah, he was one of them. There was another guy I had worked good with, and he was a big man, big sloppy man. His name was Skag Rollins, and he was about 340 pounds. But there's a match on YouTube you can find, and it's pretty funny because he's actually a stand-up comic in Vegas right now. His name's Todd Royce, and he's got his own show every Wednesday night in Vegas. And his matches were, I liked working him. He was just fun. I took out a tray of donuts because he was a fat man one time and crashed it over his head, kicked him out of the ring, and I'm looking for him, and he's sneaking in back into the ring, but he's eating one of the donuts. So that kind of shit, just funny stuff. So he was fun to work with. And there was another guy, Adam Firestorm, really good, knew the business, knew how to put together a match. He tragically passed away after I retired, but that was a sad day.
And then so you used to wrestle. So was there anybody that's like in the current day, like that's from like WWE, WWF that you would love to wrestle one day, or anybody that's like a current wrestler like in WWE that's like a new up and comer that you'd like to wrestle?
Gonna move my hand here in the right direction. On that poster, that's me in the middle. That's Chris Jericho. So I was actually on the same show as him in Chilliwack, BC, and I blew my knee out in the cage on there. But I watched him work back then. That's when he was just starting out, and he was amazing, and he still works hard in there, man. That would be cool to wrestle one of the old guys like that. I still try to keep in shape. It'd be fun. I miss wrestling a lot. You miss that. It's really cool. It's powerful, and I get my kicks on the flag football field, and I do some acting now to on the side, so that helps me with that a little bit.
Who would be someone in like today's era, like the Seth Rollins, the CM Punks, the Daniel Bryan's, that type of who would be out of like that kind of you'd want to wrestle or you would have liked to work with?
Like Kevin Owens,
He
he
is,
would
he is
be
from here, so I mean,
yeah, he would be fun. He would be fun. John Cena would be fun. My kind of match, my kind of moves he does. Uh, CM Punk, wow, I'd like to go on the stick against him, man. That'd be fun. Yeah, there's some good workers out there right now. It's it's like up here now. They've come to a level. Now John Cena turning heel on the weekend, that
I
was
was, I was about to ask you
pretty.
that. How do you feel about the heel turn?
Yeah,
That was my next question.
yeah. What was your question? And just what I thought think of that?
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, well, boom. They got everybody, didn't they?
I kind of predicted it, but I didn't think it was gonna
Yep.
happen at the Chamber. I thought what happened at Mania. I thought he would have turned heel at Mania, and then he would have like went on the rest of the with like the rest of the year or whatever. Or I thought they would have kept him a baby face, and then in like December he would have been like that he would turn heel in December, and then did one more year. That's what I thought he would have
Yeah,
did. That's what
yeah,
I thought
yeah,
he was gonna
yeah.
do. At the Chamber though, it was unexpected. I didn't think he was gonna do it until he stared at the Rock, and I'm like, yep, here comes the heel turn.
Wow. Think how he just did to Cody, put him way up here now. Total
Yeah.
baby, total baby. So
It's tough though.
yeah,
I
I
don't know if
don't
Cena will win now. That's the tough because I think Cena's going to win 17th title, but I also don't. I also think they want to push Cody. So now it's like, where do they go here?
know. Cody's great too. Yeah, it should be a good WrestleMania in Vegas this year. Are you
Yeah,
are you going to that?
no, I went to last year Mania actually,
Yeah. Where was that again? Sorry.
Philly.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Cody in Philly. I
Yeah.
went to that. That was amazing.
Yes, right on. Did you
Yeah,
go to the event in Vancouver here?
Survivor
Uh,
Series. I did go to Survivor Series as well. Yeah, were you? Did you
yeah, I
also go to
went.
Survivor Series or no?
Yeah, I was a VIP at that one. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I went to Mania and then I found tickets for Survivor Series. I was like, because like as a kid, my biggest dream as a kid was to go to the Big Four, so Rumble, Survivor Series, Mania, SummerSlam, and I went to Mania. Then Survivor Series came in Vancouver. I'm like, I have to go. Like I'm like that's like a you have to go. So I went to that. Then it was Rumble and SummerSlam left. I'm like, I could wait to hold off on it, especially with it being in Saudi Arabia next year. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go to Saudi Arabia for the Rumble, right? But yeah, it was fun. I've been to the two SmackDowns over here too, in like 2020 and then 2020 and then the one 2024. I've been to both of those. Who's your favorite? And then next question is, who's like your favorite wrestler growing up?
Piper and Stone Cold, I liked. They were my favorite. I just liked how they worked and just the crowd, how they respond to those guys. Piper was a loose cannon. He was awesome, just
Hot
awesome. He
Rod.
didn't best improviser, and you got to know how to improvise in there. And nowadays they're so in queue. They're just it's so amazing. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to remember all those spots, man. But you got to be able to improvise, and he was one of the best at it. It was nice to see.
What would be like? So Roddy's your favorite. Would Roddy Piper and Stone Cold be under Mount Rushmore? Like if you would have a Mount Rushmore of wrestling, who would be like your top four? That's a tough question because it's like because there's so many, but it's just a question to ask. Who would be your top four?
Tough one. Well, of course, I'm going to say Roddy Piper. Uh, uh, I like Ric Flair. Ric Flair. Bret Hart would be up there. Hogan, I guess. Kurt Hennig, man, he was a
Taker?
good worker. Uh, you know, Scott Hall. Uh, there's lots. It's hard to make the four top ones, but definitely Piper, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, and Hogan, I guess, would be the top four.
Yeah, that's
Then I'm missing
um
Cena. I'm missing Cena. I do like Cena. I like what he does.
it's tough. I don't know.
But
For me, I feel like if you have The Rock, you have Stone Cold. Because without The Rock, there's no Stone Cold. Without Bret Hart, there's no Shawn Michaels. Without Cena, there's no Randy Orton. Like you can't
yeah,
because like if you pick one, you have to have the other on there too. So
you
I
notice
feel
I
like
didn't say it. You notice I didn't say The Rock. That's kind of neat. He's the boss now, so he's a prick, right?
but you
I
said Stone
did
Cold
meet
though, so without
him,
Stone Cold, there's no Rock, you know?
and I should have a short sleeve on to show you my tattoo. I got the tattoo first. I got the Desert Skull Brahma Bull first before him, and I told him that when I met him. I met
You
him
met
in
The Rock.
Surrey.
How was that
It,
experience?
it was really cool. I was actually visiting my buddy who was breaking in to be a wrestler, and he worked at the car park place behind the gym in Surrey. And I was talking to him, and he's going, look, look, look. And there The Rock was getting in his rental car right there. So I called him over, and he stopped and came over and talked to us, and talked to us for about 10 minutes. And it was he was freaking cool, man. What a great conversation. I told him I was a pro wrestler because I was wrestling at the time.
Yeah.
Of course, he didn't know who I was. We didn't have all my highlights are on VHS tape.
What was it? Did he give you any advice? Like what kind of the advice that he gave you?
He didn't at that time, and during that kind of conversation, he just said, "Keep up the good
Oh,
work," kind of thing, and that was about it. Only guy that gave me lots of guys gave me advice actually, because I worked at All Star Wrestling and ECCW with a lot of the old time WWF guys, Bad News Allen, the Bushwhackers, Jimmy Snuka. I've been on tour with those guys locally here, and Bad News was the best. I said to Bad News, I said, "Hey, you don't get nervous before you go out?" He goes, "Yeah, I do. If you watch me, I'm telling a story before I go out. Just he almost, his music's on and he's still telling his story. That's how he would combat his nerves." And then there's one thing he told me. He said, "If you're not nervous, you may as well go home." That always stuck to me.
what would be this is a random question, but what's like your favorite finishing move? Like out of all the wrestlers, all the current wrestlers, past wrestlers, what's the favorite? What do you think's the favorite finishing move? Like what's your favorite? And what do you think's the most which was the one that you wouldn't want to take?
I like the stunner, and I like Randy Orton's RKO. That they look good,
Yeah.
and I use the stunner myself, and of course the good old pile driver is pretty cool too. It's got to be done right, and I like the way Owen Hart used to do his pile driver. But those are my favorites.
What move would you not want to take? Like if you like out of all the moves that you've taken, what's like the finishing move that you wouldn't want to take? Like I'm not doing it. Well, what do you think would
Pile
hurt the
driver,
most? Pile
pile
driver?
driver. I don't like. You got to trust the guy forever. You got to make sure that guy's got your head cradled perfectly. Otherwise, you can get big. Well, that's how Stone Cold broke his neck on a pile driver.
That is true. He did. He
Yeah,
recovered though.
and
He recovered.
he recovered. Yeah, and how did Kurt Angle break his? Uh,
I think
I
he broke
think,
it before he was in WWE.
yeah. But yeah, that move is dangerous, and yeah,
Yeah.
you got to take a move that you're comfortable with to make the move look good in the match.
I mean, I used to do jiu-jitsu. I always wanted, like, as a kid, I was like, I want to go into wrestling. So I want to go into wrestling, but I don't know if I want to do it anymore because, my back's not the best. So, but it'd be sick to get in the ring one time, just one time, just do like a one
Well,
thing.
yeah, well, I remember my first time I got in the ring. Went in with Johnny Canuck, and he
Oh,
goes,
really?
throw me in the corner and follow me in, and then hit me with some punches. And I did that. And he go, whoa, 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 whoa. He stopped me right away because I was nailing him hard. He's a big man and a strong man and a tough guy. And he turned me into the corner. He's, no, this is how you do it. Not like this. And gave me a couple ones that I was giving him. But then he showed me the art, and it's quite the art.
And then is there ever gonna be a return for you in the ring? You ever want to get back in the ring, or you're like, no, I'm done. I had my time. I don't want to get back in the ring now.
Not too old, but I miss the going and seeing the boys and stuff. I didn't leave on good terms, but then when I just saw the wrestlers at the Grey Cup, they took the chip that was on my shoulder about how I left off of it by how they reacted to me and talked to me, and they actually said that I was one of the local wrestlers that paved the way for these guys, and that really made me feel good. And I told them that, and I said, "Hey, man, I always like to do maybe some play-by-play or maybe even some kind of
Commentary,
inter
commentary would be nice. Refereeing,
commentating.
announcing.
Yeah, yeah, I would like to. That would be on my bucket list to try some of that one day."
Would you ever open up your own wrestling school? Like, what if you open up
Pardon
like your
me?
own wrestling school?
Yeah, that would be cool too. You just got to have some money and the perfect location. I was around when they had one in Langley here, and it was called the House of Pain. And
Ooh,
there's some videos floating around from them that would just knock your
is,
socks off.
is that where Mark Kennedy's house, Hall of Pain started, or is that different?
No, this was like in the 98, 97, 98,
Oh,
ninety
before my time.
six, maybe a little bit in, maybe even 2000. It was in Langley, and we used to run uh, underground shows there, and it was just epic. A lot of guys got trained there, actually.
Yeah, I know Cloverdale still. I think Cloverdale still has their wrestling school, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken. But I
yep.
mean, you can always get a warehouse and just put a ring in there. Just like just.
I thought of
But
that. I thought of that because I got all these stud young guy football players, but I retired from that. It's always good. I always see big guys. That's the coach in me. You see all these athletic young guys walking around. Hey, man, you play football? Hey, you should be try some wrestling.
like
You
Brock
know,
Lesnar, Roman Reigns.
yeah, yeah. No, it was funny. The one event there when I was in that nice restaurant at Rogers there, Roman Reigns was getting his beard trimmed behind the curtain there,
SmackDown?
and it was at Rogers, yeah. And he was getting his beard trimmed, and I walked by and gave him the finger. And I sat down and ate my steak, and the guy says, "Why'd you give him the finger?" I said, "Because he's a heel."
Wait, was this currently?
Yeah, it was when they were in Vancouver last. It was funny. It was
Oh,
funny.
oh, this is the last SmackDown that just happened. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they were. He was getting his beard trimmed there. That's where it's the restaurant there where you can watch the um, uh, Canucks. You can watch the team
Oh, is
walk
that
out.
the sports bar?
Yes, yes.
Sports bar.
Yeah, it was funny. It was great.
Hey, you're lucky he didn't give you a Superman punch. Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, he was behind the glass, so I was safe there, but yeah, bring it on.
You think you could take him?
I could still throw down. Those
It's
big
okay. I got your
guys,
back.
yeah.
Don't worry. I got your back too. He has his
Man,
bloodline,
those
but we could get our own. We could do.
yeah, well, yeah, get the men for it, in the building, and let's rock and roll, man.
Yeah. So obviously War Games was here,
Yes.
in Vancouver. If you were to have your own War Games like match, who would be your four teammates? Who would you want to pick?
Oh shit. If it's war games, I'll take John Moxley.
Okay, yeah.
I'll take Jericho for his experience in there. I think I'll take Roman Reigns.
What would be
Yep.
the last guy?
Ah, Orton.
No Brock Lesnar?
He's fishing and hunting in Saskatchewan right now.
He is in Saskatchewan, that's true. It's a great place. It's a
Yeah.
great day. He's chilling. He's fine.
Yeah, well, it's nice back there. That's where I was actually born. That's
Yeah.
why I got that Saskatchewan jersey. Yeah, once you got green blood, it's hard to get rid of it.
So you went from Saskatchewan. How was it growing up in Saskatchewan and then Vancouver? What's the better, what do you think's the better like nightlife, day life, the better town? Do you think it's Saskatchewan? Do you think it's Vancouver? Or do you think there's a bit of both? You like some parts of this, some parts of this?
Oh no, there's no light nightlife back there. You got to make your own fun. It's just fun in the on the farm and shit, but Vancouver's fun too. You got Vancouver's grown so much. They got so many good events coming here now. I'm actually going to Jelly Roll on Saturday, taking the wife down to see
30 Civic
Jelly
Plaza?
Roll. Yeah,
Don't worry, I'll be there too. I'm going there as well.
yeah,
I'll see you there.
yeah. I'll have some margaritas in me, maybe. But yeah, that Vancouver's just tons, and I'm a CFL fan. I support the CFL. I like all football. I watch NFL too, and Taylor Swift NFL and all that. And
What's your NFL
so
team?
yeah, actually the Raiders.
It's not a bad
Yep,
team.
the Oakland Raiders. Just because of Howie Long, man. You know who Howie Long is. Look at some old tape of that guy. He was psycho, man. The fastest
Yeah,
guy with the biggest wingspan and just powerful.
bad. Um, it's kind of a well, obviously with Triple H now being in charge of WWE and Shawn Michaels part of NXT. I don't know if you've seen the new how it works now. It's WWE ID, then it goes Evolve and LFG, and then it goes NXT Raw SmackDown. How do you feel that's like the new wave of the new talent going in?
Yeah, that seems pretty neat. I've just kind of watching it again a little bit when I can. I was watching something there where they're in the ring training them, and the girl asked Undertaker if she could use
That
the
was great.
finishing move. Yeah, that was kind of neat. Undertaker's reaction was comical for me to watch. That was
Yeah.
great.
Okay, this is I don't know what chance for this question is because I was kind of shocked when I heard about this. What do you think about the Vince McMahon Brock Lesnar situation with the whole allegations and all that? That's kind of a big question. What do you feel about that?
Oh, geez. Well, the guy is power hungry. And but you're in that position, you got to cover all tracks. I don't know. That's a mess. That's a mess. And well, I read something just recently that he's coming up with a new promotion or something, Vince McMahon.
Really? Okay, I
So,
didn't hear that about that part.
yeah, I read something. I don't know where I read that, but I could see that. I could see something like that. But he's getting up there in age too. But
Yeah.
it's what you do every day. He loved it, and yeah, that's kind of crazy. Those allegations and stuff. Uh, People aren't talking about it, the wrestlers, because they know that shit was going on in the back.
How do you feel about Brock Lesnar also being associated with that? Because apparently, I think his name was also like associated with it. Was that kind of a shock, like Brock Lesnar, or what's your initial reaction to that?
I don't know. Not sure. He was not around that much, really. He seemed like he. I don't know. I don't know. It's Yeah, what did he say when what was his line when he cracked the beer after winning that fight? And he said he's just gonna go home and drink a beer and screw his wife.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think what else? Um, just trying to think here what else we could talk about here. It's kind of um, who's like one superstar you want to see in the Hall of Fame, and then who's another like non-wrestler you want to see in the Hall of Fame as well? Because I know they have sometimes they'll do like a celebrity inductment. So who's like the one wrestler you want to see in there, and then who's like the other wrestler you'd want to see in there?
I'm not sure who's not in there right now. There was somebody that they just said was gonna go in there, and I can't remember who that was. Uh, yeah, let me ask you that question and let's go from there. You answer
Uh,
that question.
I think non-wrestler should be Jim Johnson.
Jim Johnson.
Yeah, because of all like the banger music he used to make, like WWE's music back then used to be great. You could tell who it was. Now it's kind of hard because like all this music's similar, so you can't tell if it's like Seth Rollins or Bailey, or you can't really tell who it is. But I think Jim Johnson would be like my
Oh,
non-wrestler in the Hall of Fame.
that's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
wrestling
yeah.
wise, I would say I'd put Cena in there, even though he's wrestling right now. I'd put maybe like Cena or like Bray Wyatt. I think one of those guys should go in there.
They didn't put Bray Wyatt in there. I thought they did.
I don't think they put him in there yet. Unless they did put him in there. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that was tragic. Um, yeah, no, that's a good point. Putting somebody in the Hall of Fame that's behind the scenes. That's a good call.
Yeah.
There's
I
lots of
mean,
working parts to that show. That is amazing. The last one in Vancouver, it was funny. We were right behind all the guys running the lights and everything, and they're spent the whole time watching the football game on their laptop, college football game.
I mean, it happens. And then when Undertaker lost his streak at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar, do you think that was the right move by WWE, or do you think that was like not the right call? Do you think that shouldn't have happened? That shouldn't
I don't know
his streak should have been undefeated.
that one seemed forced. It seemed forced that somebody make up their mind. You should have. I think they should have let him ride off with the streak because he was such a leader in the locker room and the backstage guy. Like, he was the glue. So give him the streak and ride off with it. I don't know, but Brock Lesnar is believable as hell because he
Apparently, what
can.
happened was Brock Lesnar when he was giving them elbows, he was concussed, so Taker couldn't kick out. Allegedly, that's
Well,
what the rumor is that Brock Lesnar was just elbowing him and Taker was concussed, couldn't kick out.
really, I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, it could happen. You can tell by the way he talks and puts his words together. Yeah, he's it's affected him. A lot of guys, I've had major concussions as well, and the concussion thing. Now we can go for another hour talking about that, but it's pretty scary because you get up. I just turned 57 years old, and I go out in my garage
Really?
to get
Well,
something, and I
you look
stand there
pretty
for
good.
a
You look
minute
like
and
you're in
forget
your,
when
you
I'm
look like
there.
you're mid. You should look like you're in late 30s and not 57.
Yeah, I just turned 57, man. So I try to stay young. I stay with the times with coaching these young guys and stuff, and still out there. My sons are still keeping me out there hunting and fishing and stuff.
Your sons also want to pursue wrestling, or they're like, no.
No, they didn't get into it like I did. Uh, they didn't. They liked their football. My youngest son went to one of the lacrosse games where they had a show down there, and the Bollywood boys were on it.
Okay, nice.
And they're great. You know who those guys are? They're excellent wrestlers. They were in the WWE for a while, and yeah, they he was impressed with watching those guys. Wow, those guys put on a good show. So I said, let's get some guys together. Let's make a promotion.
Yeah. And what do you think? Do you think John Cena's gonna win the 17th title? And then do you think he's gonna become a Grand Slam? Do you think he's gonna become a 17th? Like, do you think he's gonna get the 17th title, or do you think he's gonna get the Grand Slam?
That's a good question. I think he deserves that title, though.
17th.
He's yeah, I think he deserves it. Good question. I don't know, but I
And
think he
then
deserves it.
yeah, and then do you think he'll turn babyface near the end of his run as a heel, and then team up with R-Truth to get the tag titles, or do you think that's not gonna happen?
There's a funny guy. I love R-Truth. He's hilarious. There's so many guys, yeah, I forget half of them until you say their names, I met Kevin Nash in the back of a WCW show when I worked one in Kamloops, and he I looked at what he was eating, and he kind of took offense to it and kind of said some words to me, and I said nothing to him, and Booker T told him to shut the hell up, and it was pretty cool. Booker T was just sitting there playing a video game, and he says, "Why don't you just shut the hell up?" And he did. He did. He actually left the dressing room.
Hmm.
and that was the end of that. And I loved Booker T ever since that.
I think we can wrap it up here. Is there anything else that you want people to know? Any advice you like the people to know, or anything like that?
Yeah, just keep being a fan of whatever you love. Don't let anybody take you off track, and keep smiling no matter what shit's going on in the world.
Yeah, let me know when you start that wrestling promotion out. I'd like to debut. Gotta come back out of retirement myself.
Yeah, you got me at get me in the morning when I can go Rockford on you. Then you can
Let's
really
go. I'm down. What was your finishing move called?
the rock pile, which was a just a fast power bomb, and
Cool.
I did the Rockford recliner as well, and I also used the rock fist because I did the talk show at the beginning of the shows. We called it the Rock Pit. So we would bring the stars that they would bring in on the Rock Pit and make fun of them, and we'd do something. Somebody would get punched out. We had Daniel Bryan on there. We had Christopher Daniels. I can't remember all the other guys' names there. He stole my pants. Tommy Dreamer. So yeah, there's been some good stuff. I can send you. I should send you some links to some of the matches and some of the pictures. I got
Yeah,
some in
that'd
the
be great.
archives here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah,
Is there anything
yeah.
else you want the
Anyways,
people to know before we end this off?
yeah. What's that?
Is there anything else you'd like to let the people know before we end it off, or no?
Just keep supporting what you like and keep smiling and be positive. Thanks for having me.
Anyways, thanks for helping on. Appreciate you.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Cheers. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. That was Rockford. We just interviewed another wrestler. We're excited. Thanks for watching Mania Mayhem. It was amazing. And we'll see you guys next week. As always, watch the podcast. Reaction videos coming out. SummerSlam. We'll see if we're going to SummerSlam. We're about to find out. Stay tuned. Keep watching. And as always, become a maniac. Hit the subscribe button. Like, comment. Peace.